What up, everybody? It's the Built Different Podcast. Sean, Justin, myself, representing Extropian, getting bigger every day. Today, we want to talk about streaming and streaming as a medium to essentially take over for cable, take over for people going to the movies and things like that, and kind of the highs and the lows of it. I know I have we each of us kind of has our good things to say about it, and also bad things. So um, first of all, like how many, to start off with, do either you still have cable or do you guys it's just strictly streaming in your household?
I have no.
Um, my family does have cable, so we haven't fully cut the cord yet, but I definitely think that I watch a lot more streaming services than cable these days. So,
Yeah,
how about you,
Justin?
Ricky?
I'll go to Justin first because I think he has a very succinct answer.
yeah. No, I don't. I don't use cable. I haven't had cable, and I honestly don't even remember the last time I had cable. I'm like completely streaming now. It's the best way
Is
to.
it just to kind of branch off from that? Is it a cost thing? Is it a program like nothing on cable that or does it? Is it just a replacement for you?
It's. I mean, it's kind of like a cost thing, but it's also just. I don't know. I don't like commercials and stuff. I don't like dealing with those. It's. I can't watch like a. I love watching like a show like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia or something, but I don't want to watch 3 minutes of ads every 10 minutes. It just I don't know how I tolerated that as a kid. I hate dealing with that. So now that I have like streaming and stuff like that, and I can just skip over that, that's the best way to do it.
For me, it's a combination of both. I would say streaming. I've really started to watch. Well, you have no choice with a lot of sports.
Yeah.
So like UFC, there's some boxing streaming, and then I don't really, to be honest, I really don't watch shows like that anymore. So
Mm.
I think when it first, Star Wars first started having stuff, I think Marvel had some shows, quality, we'll talk about that probably in a little bit. The quality's kind of gone down a little bit, so I really don't watch shows streaming too much anymore. And on TV, it's just sports as well, so it's just pretty much sports on both. Um, what are you guys' thoughts on, and obviously, Justin, you kind of already said it replacing cable altogether. Like Sean, for instance, why has your family not? What do you think your family haven't cut the cord completely?
Um, I think there's certain things that um you can't get on streaming, like being able. I know my mom watches a lot of like HGTV, like Food Network, things like that. She'll watch a lot of like NCIS, and I guess you can maybe get some of those shows and things like that
Hmm.
uh, on streaming platforms. But just having the ability to go and watch live TV, personally, I love the idea of like when I watch football, like it's always live. Like it's not, when I've gone over to friends' houses and they're on, Hulu or like Hulu TV or something else, like it always seems like they're like, 10 seconds behind. Like I see the touchdown at my house and then 10 seconds later they type, "Oh, there was a touchdown." It's like, so I like kind of being as close to live as possible. And also, I think it just had to do with whatever the bundle that we had. It's tied into phones and internet and everything like that. So it's just kind of like, as of right now, we don't see a purpose to cut it. But I don't know. We've talked about it and potentially in the future. So
So, Justin, is there anything you feel like you're missing by not having cable, or are you like streaming just fits your needs altogether for whatever you want to watch?
Um, I feel like streaming pretty much fits my needs. I can't really think of anything that I feel like I'm missing out by having cable. For the holidays, whenever I go back to my parents' house, they still have cable, and I'll turn on the TV, and I don't know, it feels like so much. I can't even explain it. It's just like commercials, and then all of these like competition shows, like game shows and stuff like that. And I don't know, I'm not into like that type of stuff, or it's just like Sports Center, and I don't know. I feel like most of the things that I would be interested in are just you can either find it like on YouTube or on Netflix or on any of those services. So I don't know. I don't really feel like I need to have cable at this point, you know.
What about
I
you,
would,
Ricky?
from which standpoint? From the
I
cable,
guess
mm,
from the standpoint of you still have cable, but are like have you had any inclinations to cut the cord, or like as you've gone through, like what's been your rationale, I guess, for keeping it?
for the longest, it was Sunday Ticket. Sunday Ticket was only on DirecTV because that's what I have. It's super outdated, but I will say this: with rain and stuff like that, it doesn't seem to cut out because that was the big thing for a long time. Um, Also, too, and this is kind of something they never fulfilled their promise on, was 4K. They were like the first platform really to promise 4K like channels. They have one that is constant, but it just literally plays like random documentaries, and it's just every once in a while they have an old movie. Like last night they had Godzilla, like the old one with Matthew Broderick from like the '90s or something.
Mm.
And but they do, if it's like the Olympics, they had it in 4K, which was really cool to see. Some NFL games are in 4K. World Series, World Cup was in 4K. So some big sporting events are on there, and it's great to see because it's like just the clarity is so much better, so much different. It almost feels like you're there. So that was kind of the appeal of why I wanted to keep it. The I'm with Justin on the like random channels. Like I don't need all the QVC channels and all these home shopping channels. Like, and there's a ton of them on there, and it's like, why is this here? I used to have it for HBO, but HBO has streaming now, and then HBO got rid of boxing, and pretty much all the movies, the content, new because HBO used to put out a new movie every weekend, and now it's all on their app. So it's like, what's the point of keeping it? Same with all of the movie networks and things like that. And then I don't know why I'm holding on. I'm probably gonna get rid of it. I'm thinking about getting rid of it this year. NFL Sunday Ticket's gone, so what's the point now? It's the only exclusive thing you could really get. Um, but yeah, I'm kind of gonna go to transition to the next thing, which is like maybe some of the negatives that you got negatives, and Sean, you pointed out a few of them with streaming versus cable. What's some of your, Justin, I'll start with you this time. What are some of your thoughts of maybe some of the things that you have with streaming that you're like, damn, like it was more of an advantage having cable
Advantage having cable?
versus streaming? Yeah,
Uh,
he
I
hates
ca-
commercials, so it seems like he's just like screwed.
I hated cable. I was never a fan of it. I like didn't even watch TV that much when I was a kid, but now that I have streaming, it's like it's just you can watch whatever you want whenever you want. You can't do that with cable. I hated cable.
Good lord.
Yeah.
Okay.
I Yeah, I would say another thing that I've noticed too, and like this has happened before, is where, at least where I'm located, I'm right on the border between like being like a New York station and like a Philly station. So because of that, my cable gets both. So anytime a New York team plays, and like NFL, for example, like the Jets or the Giants, we get their games, and then anytime the Eagles play, we get their games. So it's like
Mm,
we get both of them, even though like most people only get one area. And my buddy who lives not far away, he has Hulu TV, and he only gets the Philly station, even though he's like in the same area where he would probably get both. Like he only gets Philly because I think that's just how Hulu works. So it's like slightly different having that like form of TV versus the general like cable like we have. Um, that's other than that, I mean, there's not a ton of advantages to cable. Like I said, a little bit less delayed maybe. Um, Sometimes it's just nice to search and have a bunch of different options for shows
yeah.
or movies. Like sometimes I just go on and I see There's a movie on that I've seen before that I like, and I'll just be like, oh, I'm gonna watch that. And it's like it's easy to flip channels. Um, I would say, for something like college football, it's great, just being able, like, because I get all of the ESPN, ESPNU, ESPN2, ESPN News, like, there's like 50 different ESPN channels. And then there's like, the ACC network and the Big 10 network. And, so it's like, I get all of those channels. So like, at any point, if I turn on the TV on like a Saturday, I can watch like 6 college football games without having to go to a different app or go to a different platform. So I guess just like consolidating everything a little bit versus,
Mhm.
having to go into 4 different apps to see, something on ESPN, and then you want to go and see something on ACC network. It's like, you don't have to switch channels or anything. But I mean, I'm in agreement with Justin. I don't think it's like crazy, I don't think the benefits of cable are crazy by any means compared to maybe about what they were back in the day. Like now that streaming is so prevalent.
Yeah.
Um, I'm with you on one thing. I'm starting to notice it now when I'm watching, because I watch UFC on ESPN, but I think I'm noticing it even more now with because football has so many damn breaks with Thursday Night Football on Amazon.
Yeah.
I'm like, I start streaming it, and I'm like, okay, cool, another damn commercial. So I'm like picking up my remote to change the channel. I'm like, what the hell? Shit, I'm on Amazon. So it's like, it's annoying from that standpoint. Is like, during football matches, I always want to change the channel to something else, maybe another sporting event or something,
Yeah.
and fill in the gaps in the commercials. But it's like, eh, so cable though, I think, like I said, that advantage you can change the channels, as well as if you don't have a really great signal. A lot of times, like thank God, always bag on Spectrum. Thank God I got rid of them. I have AT&T now. Fingers crossed, it's working well. Um, if it's the internet's down or they're doing maintenance, you're done. You can't watch the match or the game or anything like that. You'd have to probably pull it up on your phone and watch it on your phone. And so that's my biggest thing. The only advantages I see with cable. But to touch on some, some you were saying, Justin, the commercials. A lot of these streaming platforms now. That's my issue now. It's like you're paying this fee,
Yeah.
and you still have to. Now you have commercials. You know what I mean? Hulu has commercials. Like Amazon, the game has commercials. UFC matches have commercials. So it's like, are we really
Yeah.
getting rid of commercials? You know they were going to find their way on the streaming platforms at some point.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that that's starting to seep into it. It's starting to take away from it a little bit, but I don't know. I still think the convenience is still kind of it still kind of makes up for the commercials in a way. I think it was getting really bad with commercials on YouTube videos. That's when I really noticed things. At first, it was, a 30-second ad that you could skip, but then some of the ads are like 15 minutes now, and it's like you can't skip some of them. And it's like they force you to upgrade to YouTube Premium or something. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to pay to
I
use.
did it too.
Yeah, but then I did it. I upgraded to YouTube Premium, and I like can't ever imagine not having it now. It's so nice not
Same.
it's so nice not having to deal with ads. I can never go back. I can never go back to commercials. But I don't know.
Same. It's
Yeah,
I did the free trial, and then once I did the trial, I'm like, man, it's so much better. I'm like, I'm just gonna do it.
it's worth the $10, man.
See, I don't mind commercials that much. Like I definitely like Netflix and things like because Netflix is one of the few that's held out and said like we're not adding commercials. But even recently, I think they've kind of said, well, maybe we'll add commercials. So we'll see about that. But I do like, binge watching and not having to watch commercials. But if there are commercials, it's like, okay, I'll just go on my phone for the next, you know, 60 to 90 seconds, and then the show comes back on, and I go back to watching. So,
It just sucks whenever like you're watching a show and it's like a very climactic scene or something, and then you get an ad for, something completely unrelated. It just takes you out of the moment.
but I feel like also most shows, at least older shows, maybe not like shows designed for Netflix and things like that. Most shows were designed to have these commercial breaks in them. So like
Yeah,
it's kind of weird to me sometimes that like in a show that was designed with commercials, when you watch it without commercials, it's like it just like jumps to the next thing, and you're like, why
Hmm.
did it jump? Like, why did it cut in the middle like that? And it's because of like in real life there was a commercial there, and then now there's not. So
Yeah.
I always found
Yeah.
that interesting.
Well, remember a lot of the like if it's an older show, a lot of times it was done in front of a live studio audience.
Yeah.
So it's like weird. The fit doesn't really fit seamlessly on streaming.
Yeah,
But yeah, there's a couple like first of all, like before I go to issues that I have with it and some of the gripes I have with it, besides what we've already mentioned. Um, how many streaming platforms are you guys on? Like, how many do you use essentially? And is there one you want to add?
I think I have
I could start. Oh,
three.
go ahead, Justin.
Oh yeah, I think I have three. So I have the YouTube Premium. I don't know if that counts as like a streaming service. Well, yeah, I guess it is.
I would
I
say
have
so.
that. I have Amazon Prime, and then I have Netflix. And I feel like I'm pretty happy with that. That's a good trifecta. I do feel like I miss out on like Apple TV because I feel like there's a lot of really good stuff on there now. So if I had to add another one, it would probably be that one, I think.
I have Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, Disney Plus, ESPN Plus. Um, I think my family right now has Paramount, for the time being, or Paramount Plus, I think it's called. And then I think that's it. Yeah. Um, if I was gonna add one, I agree with Justin. It'd be uh, Apple TV because
Hmm.
I started watching. Well, I was at someone else's house and I was watching like Ted Lasso, and it's amazing. It's a great show. Highly recommend. But um, now I'm back at home and I don't have Apple TV, and I like want to watch it and I can't, and it makes me sad. So
Um, Me, I think I have all of them. I have, and it's that's one of the frustrations for me is like I'll watch one or two things on each one of them.
Yeah.
So the beautiful, huh?
No, I just said yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, the Apple TV I actually have it, and no Apple phone, and that's one of my gripes that I wasn't even thinking about when I was thinking about gripes is I can't connect with it on my damn Android phone because Apple do what they do.
Yeah.
Um, but I got it through T-Mobile, and it's like T-Mobile's offering it, but I got an Android phone. You know what I mean? At least I can log in on a TV and do it.
Yeah.
Um, so I have Apple TV, and I got that. I just had it for free, and I think I watched Ted Lasso third season. I didn't like, by the way, or the final season, but there's nothing else on there really. I've watched a movie or two on there that's been their exclusive. I have Paramount Plus. I think I got that through T-Mobile as well, but that's for Champions League since Arsenal made Champions League. I have Peacock for Premier League matches. I have Netflix just for movies, which I think Netflix is kind of their content's falling off a little bit. I have the whole package: Disney Plus, Hulu, and it's Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus.
ESPN Plus, yeah,
Obviously ESPN Plus for UFC, some of the soccer matches, boxing sometimes, and then I have the Zone for boxing, and the Zone is expensive. It would start off at like $10 a month. Now they're charging like 20 a month, but
oh,
it's for boxing, and their whole thing was free pay per view. Like getting rid of the pay per view boxing model, and now they're doing pay per view events. So it's like, why am I paying $20 for this, and you're still gonna charge me for pay per view?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think I have pretty much all of them, the major ones, and HBO Max and all of that. I have through my cable subscription. So, um,
did you say Hulu? Oh, you have,
yeah,
yeah,
I have
you had
Hulu.
Hulu.
I have Hulu, Netflix, Amazon. I think pretty much all of them.
So it'd probably be
Um,
free to just get cable at this point.
I think I am. I think I am. And like I said, what was holding me back was Sunday Ticket and
Yeah.
Um, but even I had Showtime for a while, which you can use their app in some cases, but they're leaving the boxing game now. They might be on Prime or they may be on Netflix, which is gonna be a little weird on Netflix. But
Yeah.
yeah, Premier Boxing Champions. That's one other reason I was kind of holding off. But does it kind of? because this is where I got a little frustrated, kind of going to the gripes now. uh the distribution of content, like you have to get these streaming platforms to watch a lot of things now, so it's like an additional cost. So I, all in all, what I'm thinking, and they keep raising the prices, that's another thing, I think it's going to end up being more than cable to subscribe to see all the things you want, as opposed to cable where you had pretty much your channels standard, and then you maybe had some add-ons, but you had access to all the content, as opposed to now you got to get these subscriptions, and now you've got to you know, you might, like Sean saying, he wanted to watch Ted Lasso on Apple TV, and got to go get that Apple subscription now. It's an additional however much, and then they're gonna raise it. You know what I mean? Do you guys take issue with that? And do you have issues where you're trying to watch certain things, and now I've got to subscribe to this new thing to watch this hot show that everybody's talking about?
Um,
Go ahead.
I would say like, I guess it's like that's what a lot of the companies now are doing is they're trying to
Mm-hmm.
do these like Netflix exclusive or Apple TV exclusive shows because if you do that, then nobody else can watch it on any other platform. So it's like if they want to watch, if I want to watch Ted Lasso, it's only on Apple TV. So I need to get Apple TV. So um, I would say I find that like mildly annoying. Like I don't like it from the customer perspective, but I understand from a business perspective that it's actually a very smart business model. So it's like the business person in me is like, oh, that's very smart of them, but the customer in me is like, oh, screw you. So
Mm-hmm.
kind of a little bit on. I see both sides, but I would prefer that like that things are like more evenly distributed, like that like all the platforms kind of share the shows, but then they wouldn't make any money. So that's kind of why they do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it reminds me
but Justin.
of a funny sketch I saw. I think it was Saturday Night Live where there is these people at like a dinner party. They're all talking. They're like, "Hey, have you seen Ted Lasso? Oh no, I only have Netflix. Have you seen Ozark? Oh no, I only have Apple TV. Have you seen Blackbird? Oh no, I only have Amazon Prime." They just keep going around in a circle. Nobody's seeing each other's shows. It's pretty funny. But yeah, it's kind of ridiculous that I feel like I just accept that I'm never gonna watch certain shows that are on platforms that I don't have. Like I would love to watch Ted Lasso, but do I want to pay an extra $15 a month to watch it? I don't know if it's worth it to me, you know. So I wish it wasn't like that. I wish there was like a way that streamers could overlap certain shows, kind of, but I don't know if that'll happen. So I think you just have to accept or be happy with whatever's on those streamers that you already have, you know, unless you want to pay for all of them.
What
Yeah,
about you, Ricky?
I think the only reason I have quite a few of them is because of T-Mobile. T-Mobile, and that's why I'm like kind of hesitant to leave T-Mobile, because they offer like a year free of different platforms. They've done Paramount Plus, they've done Hulu and Netflix, they've done Apple TV is the most recent one. That's the only reason why I got that. Um, but yeah, it's a little frustrating to me because like I said, they keep raising the prices, and then there's only one or two good things in my opinion on a lot of these networks. If I really boiled it down, I would probably only have ESPN Plus, maybe the Zone, even though they need to like put more boxing on there. Paramount for Champions League, and Peacock for Premier League. But I will say this though, like it gets frustrating as well with the streaming. Um, just because of so sports for me is, I'm gonna say this, it feels, I don't know why UFC events feel like a little less they feel like cheap, the experience feels cheapened to me. I don't know why, maybe because of having to log on the stream. But what I would say on the back end of that is being able to take it anywhere. You go to the beach and you can watch a fight on the beach and stuff like that. That's always cool on your phone. Or you go to a friend's house, you can log in, and they don't have the network, you can log in. But I don't know, UFC boxing just feels, I don't know why, the experience to me, maybe just I just got to get used to it. It feels like a cheapened experience than watching it on TV. Maybe just because I'm like used to like the big networks, the HBO's having boxing and Jim Lampley and that team, you know what I mean? And then Showtime, a big event being on Showtime TV, ESPN. on TV, watching UFC on there, Fox Sports One and Fuel back in the day. I don't know. It's just maybe something I got to get used to, but it's just to me it feels. I don't know why it feels like a little cheaper experience to me as a fan. I don't know.
How do you guys feel about the idea of like, let's say there was one show you really wanted to watch on Apple TV. You pay for Apple TV for a month. You finish the show within that month, and then you cancel it. So you only paid for, you know, $10, $15, whatever it is for that 1 month, and then you don't have to pay it again. I know, like Ricky, that might make sense for you with like Champions League because that's only what, like 3 months out of the year. But
Champions League goes for a while.
does it? Okay.
But the thing that sucks about Champions League is like not every week. It's very sporadic, but it's still pretty
Uh,
much May of next year. But it's not like I said a weekly thing. So, but what was I gonna say as well as um, is there anything is there anything else that you would want to see as far as streaming like something that would make your experience better, eliminating maybe the commercials. What would make a perfect streaming experience for you guys?
Hmm, that's a good question. I don't know. Probably just I feel like just adding more content, more shows and stuff like that. Just consistently updating it more often. I feel like especially with like Netflix and stuff, they do update their content, but I feel like they don't update it as often as they could personally. Like
Yeah,
I just see a lot of the same stuff every time I go on, and it kind of makes me not really want to go on, But if you have something going on like I don't know about every weekend, but like every more often than what they do it's kind of like an incentive to go see oh, what's on Netflix this weekend, what's any new shows or new movies or something like that. That would kind of I feel like that would be a good incentive to kind of come back to it, and I think it would make it a better streaming service.
I I would like to see specifically with something like Netflix, right? They right now their model is that they wait till a season of a show is over and then they'll upload the entire season all at once and they let you binge it, which is great, but like I think Hulu does it a little better where it's like the day after the show airs on cable and stuff, it's on Hulu if it's a show that Hulu carries. So it's like there's been shows that I watch, live. No, not live, but like kind of a day later on Hulu that like meanwhile if it was on Netflix, I have to wait 6 months for the next season to come out, and then I have to watch, all 12 episodes or 20 episodes or however long it is. So I like that aspect of like some of the services. I would say I've been impressed with the quality of actors and actresses that some of these like exclusive shows have been getting. I think in the
hmm
beginning, their shows like they were making shows, but I don't think they were like getting like some of the high profile actors and actresses. Now, like, I've seen movies on Netflix where they get, The Rock and, uh Tom Holland, some of these like higher paid actors and actresses. So I've been impressed with that. I also think, from a video quality perspective, I think Amazon Prime last year when they were hosting some of like the Thursday Night Football games, their camera quality was not great. It felt very jumpy and kind of, all over the place. This year, I would say it looks a lot better. It's like the quality is more enjoyable watching Thursday Night Football. I mean, the performances of Thursday Night Football teams have been kind of bad, but that's not their fault. Um, and like even you can tell like with the announcers, they spent more money to try to get high quality announcers on there. Um, so I'd say they've done a lot of good things, but yeah, I do agree that one thing I'd like to see is some more like elements of potentially real time or like slightly delayed like weekly editions as opposed to all at once every 2 months or whatever it is.
Yeah. What about you,
For
Ricky?
me, number one, quality. Um, so like it's so upsetting what what's happening with Marvel, what's happening with Star Wars, and the quality of those shows, it's just bad. Like it's been a comic, like not really a comic book reader, but a fan of the movies and everything. I think we all on here have watched them, and the Star Wars been a long time fan of the entire franchise, but they're just the quality is getting worse and worse. Like the story writing, the production, it's just bad. So number one, better quality. I would love to for these streaming platforms to stick to why they got into it, the business of streaming and how they were going to change from the model of television. Um, like the zone, like number one, like you promised no pay per views. Now you're making us pay per views, and it's $20 a month, and you guys got to put some better boxing on. Same with PPC if they get into the game, just up the quality, especially if you're dealing with Amazon. Two, one thing I really liked during the pandemic, and I kind of get it because of movie theaters and so forth. They were streaming movies pretty much right away. Remember, there was movies hitting Disney Plus before they went to theater. Now they've kind of pushed back, and it used to be like a week after they got into theater, 2 weeks. Now they've done it after the movie's like on DVD, but now they're waiting even longer than that now. So it's like back in the day all over again, where you would have to wait for something to come on cable or HBO or something to stream or whatever. And then two is even Netflix, their big thing was like, did you know they still were doing the DVDs to the house up until recently? I think I saw something the other day where they're like, we're shutting down the DVD. Remember it used to come in the
Yeah.
little red thing and used to slip it back in the mail. Or they're still doing that. They were still doing that up until recently.
Wow.
So remember their claim though was like, we're gonna put these same movies that you can get on DVD through our service on streaming on Netflix. They promised that years ago, and they've never done it. Netflix as a whole, I think the quality of programming has gone down. It's they half of the movies that look interesting if I scroll across are foreign movies where with subtitles. So
Mm.
it's like so many Indian movies, so many, just European movies, African movies that they look super interesting, but I don't feel like reading. Like, can we get more like homegrown content the same way these other countries are putting out like decent looking movies? Can we get that? It's like they've gotten the money from the consumer and now they're watering down the product. It's just like we need better service. Live sports, I would love to switch between live sports. Like if I'm watching Champions League, I don't, I should be able to somehow seamlessly transition to the next game instead of going out of that one, going to the next one, waiting for it to load. It's annoying. Sports like football, like the commercials, and I want to be able to flip somehow. It just sucks sitting there and having to watch the commercials. Then you start getting on your phone and you lose interest in the damn football game. So yeah, a number of things I think they can do, and just stop raising the prices so damn much every couple of weeks and
Yeah.
um, the other problem I have, this is my biggest one, my biggest gripe lately, and what I'd love for them to change. Stop logging me out of my damn accounts. Like it's annoying because you have to use the remote. Or if you're using your TV, you have to go through, and you know how long it takes to put in
Yeah.
a username and password on the TV. You know what I mean? With the remote control, it's annoying. Stop logging me out of the damn platforms. I just want to. If you're competing with cable and you're saying that's supposed to be this next, the future of consumption, television and movie consumption, I don't want to log in every time I want to use your platform and watch something. I want to have the same experience of powering on my damn TV, turning it to the channel, leaving it there. I don't want to log in every time, and they're doing it more and more. It's annoying the hell out of me. And then so many passwords and trying to remember them, and then do it on the It's frustrating.
I
And
can.
then, I mean, tied into that, a lot of some streaming services crack down more than others on, sharing accounts with people. Like, I
Hmm.
think if you have a family, right, and like, let's say your kid's away at college, like they should still be able to use the same account. Like you shouldn't be like sometimes like I've seen where they're like, oh, like you're in a different household than you're normally in. Like you can't log in this different household. It's like stop looking at where I am. Stop, like trying to like who cares? You're already overcharging us for these things. Like, just let us go. Like, let us be cheap.
It's the same thing when you rent an Airbnb now. A lot of Airbnbs don't have cable, and so you have to log in to your accounts. And then, like, if this password sharing thing is going to recognize like you're in a different location and you can't watch anything in an Airbnb or on a hotel or whatever, you know?
Very frustrating.
There are some downsides to
Yeah.
streaming. I'll give you that.
Yeah, the password thing
Yep.
is really killing me right now, man. It's oh god, it's like I go in to watch something. I'm like, you know what? I'm not even putting the password. I'll just turn on the cable. I
Do
just
you
screw
press
it.
remember password or do you leave that box unchecked?
I will on some, but it's still for some reason the system still doesn't seem to remember it.
Oh,
It logs you completely out. You have to put your username and password, and then Apple TV has some funky stuff going on where you have to scan a code and then you have to go on the site and play. It's just too much, man. Too much work. Like it should be a seamless experience, just like turning on my TV. I shouldn't have to jump through hoops just to log in to then find a program. So, with that being said, um, that's a long way to go. Hopefully I get more comfortable with it. Maybe I cut the cord completely, but it has its positives, and being able to take it anywhere, go anywhere, be on the beach watching football or boxing, it's incredible. With
yeah.
that being said, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. Tell us about your experience with streaming. Have you cut the cord? Are you planning on it? What do you think of live sports on there? Like the experience on there? Do you rather watch it on TV or rather watch it, streaming? Like, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys have a blessed week and stream this podcast for sure. Though, like, you can binge us. We have about probably 50 episodes now. Binge us instead of watching these bad programs out there and game shows like Sean, like Justin said. So that being said, thank you guys. Have a blessed week and hope to see you in our next episode. See you.